systematic racism, it could be
No.
this, it could be that, so they can
Mhm.
be honest with their grades and the rates.
Right.
No,
And
and
this
Vince
is
is the
lever and
same.
this is lowering like the level of the quality of education, of our
Yep.
performance, even as a country, as a culture. It's
And you know, but I don't want to derail too much, but this is I've been meaning to make a video on this, so this is just going to count as my video,
Mhm.
I guess. But it's bullshit because she is. I've never seen so many companies literally drop, unless you want to compare it to to the poke, the vaccine, all that stuff. That's different with Pfizer, but I've never seen companies move
Mhm.
so fast to change their rules about publicly available content to protect this fucking woman. I have no idea who she has information on or who she's blowing in the background, but it's ridiculous that you have Twitter safety, which she retweets because she knows she's good, she's safe. She's Twitter safety changed the fucking rules about literally everything to protect this woman's publicly available video that was readily available on YouTube up until the point where she got it removed. She got that removed. She got a second music video removed. She was in other music videos, not just one. So she did her whole phase multiple times. And then not only that, nobody wanted to cover it. And then Tim Pool came up with some bullshit excuse as to why he didn't want to cover it. About, oh well, I was waiting for Jeremy on the quartering to join us to cover it. I'm like, no, you weren't. No, you didn't. You had an interview with Jeremy planned for over a month, and then Jeremy wasn't able to make it for whatever fucking reason he wasn't able to make it. But why would you need to wait for the quartering to get on your show to talk about Eliza Blue? Like you
Mhm.
wouldn't wait for someone else to get on
No,
the show to talk about
doesn't
Taylor
make
Lorenz
sense.
if she did
Right.
some stupid shit like this. But and then people are like, "Oh, why is the story so important?" It's important because she has literally Twitter, YouTube, and other forms of social media on Facebook and everything, censoring information that was publicly readily available for her under privacy. So she's trying to call it a violation of privacy, something that she publicly did and was available, and that's why it's so annoying to me. Because again, if this was someone who was on the left, everybody on the right would be going nuts over this and they would be
Nuts.
making a whole
Right.
bunch of videos. There'll be live streams for days about it. But because it's Eliza Blue and she claims that she's on the right, even though she's only claiming that now because it affords her a lifestyle that she's trying to stick to, she is part of the quote unquote conservative side. So now people like Tim Pool don't want to touch her. Nobody wants to touch her. And I think that's such bullshit. And this whole censoring thing that's going on is bullshit too. For her to attack YouTubers who she knows can't necessarily fight the long battle like the Quartering can. Quartering's got a ton of money. He tries to pretend like he doesn't. He's got a ton of fucking money. All right, like
Mhm.
the guy's a millionaire easily. But he can fight a legal battle, of course, but smaller YouTubers like Yellow Flash, for example, I think got
Mhm.
attacked by her, and
Mhm.
Camelot 331 got attacked by her, Star Wars Girl got attacked by her, Brittany Venti got attacked by her. All these people got censored by her. Why? For what? Because they shared a public music video that made you look not exactly how you like to portray yourself. So what are you really doing here? And that's my biggest issue with this is the whole censorship shit because these are the same people who complain about the left censoring all the time, which they do. So like now you have an issue, you have a scenario of someone on the right censoring, and now you want to go quiet. Now nobody wants to talk about it. Now it's too inconvenient. It's bullshit. She's
Because
she's
it's
not a
the
victim of
well,
trafficking. She
yeah, no,
fucking
she's
made
not.
the whole story up. It's so obvious at this point. And anybody who goes this hard to try to hide their past because it makes their present look inconvenient, it's bullshit. Like you made the whole fucking thing up. What I do for work in my everyday life has allowed me the ability to be able to notice when someone's lying. I can notice when someone's lying very easily. Unfortunately, it makes life very inconvenient because I think I feel like life was a lot
I
better
feel
when
your pain.
life was a lot better when I could be ignorant and not I could be
Welcome
oblivious
to
to
my
shit.
world.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But the fact
Yeah.
the fact is I can see when someone's lying. This bitch was lying through her teeth. She was
Mhm.
lying through her teeth throughout her entire initial video when she talks about her trafficking. And then she also got interviewed by someone where she went on a rampage because they wanted to bring up her past. And she was like, I wasn't informed of this. I didn't know you were gonna ask these questions. So you make this well known. You have your entire career based off this trafficking thing. So why don't you want to talk about it? It's very strange to me. Like you should
Yeah.
know that people are gonna want to ask you these questions.
No, no,
Right?
and also one thing is, if you're for most victims that have actually survived, human trafficking, even the very brave ones that go out and actually talk about it, you can see that when they talk about certain points, their body gives off a reaction, their voice quivers,
Yeah,
or
for
something
sure.
happens. Like you can tell this
Right.
person's under pain. It's something you cannot act it out. Okay. And if you do, you have to be extremely good, which most of these people, it's obvious enough that it's genuine. And most likely she didn't want to do an interview because my guess is the lie would have come out immediately because no person that has ever gone through human trafficking or, well, I'll say the friendly term SA will sound super calm while mentioning terrible things being done to them. At a certain point, they will
Right.
break because guess what? It was a time of huge emotional
Yeah, well,
distress that they're trying to
right.
remember and tell
Right.
you
Big
about.
scars.
You can see
Big
when
emotional
someone's been through trauma. You can
Oh,
see
you
it
can
even if
tell.
they're not
Right.
just wailing. They don't have to be wailing in front of you and
No, no, yeah.
crying for you to notice like this person's been through some shit. Just look at most vets. Like if you talk to a vet, they'll be the most calm
Exactly.
people in the world, but you can see it in
Yeah.
their eyes. You can see
Yeah.
the trauma in their eyes. It's very easy to read that. You
You
know.
can
But-
see
Absolutely.
their faces, their body language, even like just the way they
Absolutely.
look
But here's my
around.
bigger. I'm sorry, but here's
No,
my
no, go
bigger
ahead.
Yeah,
issue
Casey, go.
because I did make a video on this, and here's my bigger issue. The thing is, everybody was, and I'm gonna make it fast. Everybody, I heard about Eliza Bleu since like last year and how she was this hero of this issue. And I remember thinking, like, well, if this is true, how come I've never heard about her? See, I question mostly like a lot, if not everybody, at this point in my life. I do. I'm very cynical, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Whatever, right? So now this thing happens where somebody posts her picture, and then now she's going off or whatever. Then I go and I watch her interviews. She did an interview with Epoch Times, and they're asking her a little bit about what happened to her. And she's like, well, when I was 17, I was sold for $500 by who? Your rich family. And then she talks about I was in a bad relationship, and then they made me do things. That's not trafficking. It's not. It's a
Mhm.
stupid decision. And we have to be very careful with this. And why? And she doesn't stay long on the story. I'm telling literally the story of how she tells the story. And that's when I really knew I was like, she's lying, because you would say something different. And then she goes and talks about the Jeff guy and the Ghislaine guy lady, right? Okay. Why are you talking about those people? If you've been in a situation, you know things, you know deeper things, like like there's there's like a clique that they have, and they have certain symbols they use, and that's how they are able to do it, and things like that. Like that's what they would say, right? She doesn't say that, but here's my bigger issue with her is she goes on her Twitter and she says Andrew is guilty. He's guilty because I know, the type of person he is. But then you're calling catfishing trafficking. That's dangerous for men. Men beware. They have detained Andrew for another 30 days and they cannot find evidence on him. Okay. And they're looking at a lover boy method. Now, what was that? When you make a woman fall in love with you and you make her do things, it makes stupid decisions. That's a crime now, because I know a lot of guys who broke hearts. And we're talking about so these kind of people are the type to say like these things are crimes. This is not trafficking. It's not. And it's frustrating to watch women totally disrespect these words because they have a personality disorder. She doesn't know who she is. She never had to work hard for something. That's cool, right? That's cool. But now you make this fake story up. People are like donating to some charity where you're not doing anything with it. But now you're a hero and you're a survivor because you have a personality disorder. You're getting people and you can get people in trouble for things that are not happening. And I don't like it. I don't take kindly to it. And Temple is corny because guess what? He blocked the quartering. And by the way, this is the last point. I was on the quarterings live yesterday and I shouted out our because I super chatted him a couple times. He shouted me out. And then I shouted out our live today on the quartering.
Nice.
So, all right.
Nice.
Well done, Casey.
Oh, nice.
But
Like,
Yeah.
to go to
So
what
you're right.
Casey was
You're
saying, there is money in being a victim. There is money in claiming to be a survivor.
unfortunately,
Women have seen this. Certain women, very manipulative women, have seen this, and they capital. This fucking bitch's face has liar written all over. I'm sorry, just look. I'm telling you, man. I know I say this a
bro,
lot.
Hypno.
and
I haven't
people-
seen I have not seen anyone I have not seen a single person you've called the word bitch more than this woman.
But because I have no
It's
a
respect for
lot of
I have
bitches.
no
She's bad.
respect for women that do this shit because I see it all the time. It's so easy to see it.
No,
It
it's
really
fucked up.
is. And every time I talk to someone in real life and tell them how good I am at reading people, they never believe it until I fucking read them and I tell them exactly what they are, and they're like, "Oh, okay, interesting." I'm
Must be
telling you,
women.
I could read people. This bitch is lying through her teeth. She's
Yeah.
lying, and she saw the money. The thing is, I don't think she necessarily meant to go for the trafficking thing. I think she might have said it initially and kind of slipped out, but then she realized like, oh shit, there's money in this. There's clout in this. There's fame in this. Let me roll with it. How can I keep rolling with it? Because the story changed. The story changed like 2 or 3 times. You know, it went from one thing to another. Now, with that being said, she realized how much money is it now. Now she's got a group where people accept her. She's part of the conservative group. And, you know, like all these fucking conservative guys, for some reason, they're simping over her. No idea why. Because she looks like, honestly, she looks like a fucking leftist, usually, like the way she dresses and everything, her hair color
Right.
and all that. So she's just, I don't believe that she's a conservative. I just think she found her
Not.
niche. That's all it is. It's kind of like Hassan Piker. You think I believe Hassan fucking Piker is a socialist? That motherfucker's not a socialist. That dude
No,
is
he
jerking
isn't.
off in his mansion every single day at the
Yeah.
pictures of his Porsche. It's like it's not. He is not a fucking socialist at all. The
Hey,
guy is
corporate
100% a
fascist probably,
capitalist.
but not
As
socialist.
as a true capitalist, he found a way to make money off of the backs of people who wish socialism was a real thing. So he's becoming a fucking multi-millionaire trying to shill for the same ideologies that keep other people poor. That's literally all Hassan Piker does. It's fucking insane. And she's the female version of Hassan Piker. The only difference is, you know, she is a female. So obviously you have guys who are gonna simp for her and they're gonna let they're gonna how do I want to put it? They're gonna let her slide with a lot of things. They're gonna let her kind of, you know,
without asking too many questions.
They don't ask
Right.
questions exactly. They let
Right.
women have it a little bit easier. They don't
And that's
really
not
grill
right.
them as hard. But it's true. That's what happens, and she knows it. She knows it. And honestly, there's so much money in what she's doing that if there wasn't, she would have been an OnlyFans girl all day long. 100%. She would have grifted on the conservative OnlyFans thing, but she doesn't have to because she gets so much money on this shit. And that's why I truly believe that this girl is grifting all day long. She's not really a conservative, and I don't even care about the being a real conservative a lot or not. That don't mean nothing to me because I don't care what side you're on. All I care about is the fact that she is using her powers that I don't know how she has them. She's using her powers to attack people who are unable to defend themselves, all because they found out something in her past that she deems inconvenient now to her present. And now she wants to silence those people. And those people happen to be small creators, which are unfair to them, aside from the courting, who is much bigger. It's unfair to them to be silenced over something that is readily available public information. There's no reason to do that other than you're a terrible fucking human being. This woman is a terrible human being, and anybody it sickens me to see all these hardcore feminists that rather shill for her.
Self-entitled victims, right.
They rather shill for her than admit that this bitch is lying. They rather shill for her because they need to keep the conversation going. They need to keep the grift going. If they admit she's lying, how bad is it going to look for other women who they know are lying too? They don't want to admit it. It's a fucking sympathy farm. That's all it is. This whole thing is a sympathy farm. They're looking for ways to make money off of sympathy, and they found it, and they're going to keep going with it as long as they could. And now you got Tim Pool doing a fucking investigation on her, which I guarantee you is going to be slanted one way, because the way she's promoting this this interview that they're doing or whatever fucking, what are they doing with her, Casey?
So they sent out his name is Shane, and they sent him out to go stay with her and interview her, and it became like a 2 or 3 day process. And the first thing that came to my mind is, what takes 2 or 3 days to figure out with her? And so I already know what's up. I already know
she's making sure he's nice and comfortable while
right.
You know.
In my opinion, he was hugging brains, and that's all I'm gonna say. Like that, okay? So, in my opinion,
like Fred was hugging brains,
right? Yes, that's where I'm trying to go. You know what I'm saying?
Oh God,
like, yeah,
God,
I
that's
love
fucked
that.
up.
because I know her
Hugging
life.
brains.
Like I'm a girl, like I'm a female. I could tell this was the case from the door, from the first time I saw her face on Twitter. I'm like, who? She does what? Never heard of her. Don't trust her. Again, a personality disorder person. And then the fact that they won't, listen, y'all got duped, okay? Because y'all always get hyped that they got duped. It's okay. Just come out and be like, hey guys, what's going on? Ask the questions. That's it. Ask the questions. We don't get it right all the time. You can't vet everybody who's coming on to, your show. I get it. But don't hide from it. We have to call out everybody, no matter on what side they fall on. The truth lands where it does.
That's my problem. That's my problem because everybody is refusing. Every major person, anyway. There's a ton of smaller creators. Obviously, they're doing it. And the Quartering did it. But all the major people who you would think would jump on this story because it's a big story. Don't get me wrong. They try to play it down like it's not a big story. No, this is a big fucking story. When Taylor Lorenz doxed Libs of TikTok, that was a big story. This is equivalent to that, if not worse, in my opinion. Because now, as more information comes out, it just proves that this shit is crazy. And then nope, they're not touching it. They're not touching it. And now they're gonna make some glorified fucking documentary interview, whatever the hell they're making on her, to make her look better. That takes 3 days apparently. So I guarantee you, she's making sure Shane, whatever his name is very comfortable during that entire 3-day stay. I don't ever underestimate a woman who is going to maintain her status quo. Don't ever do it because she is going to maintain it any way she can.